People ask me all the time what I mix Total ISO in. Honestly, I mix it with everything. Water, egg whites.
What the Jay?
Capone, Daisy!
Jay, seriously? Don't.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Q&Jay. Always appreciate the support, guys. We are doing the best we can during the quarantine times with, everything, trying to put out the positivity. And I had a lot of great comments, especially on my last Q&Jay question time for the fans to reach out. We appreciate all the support on the YouTube channel. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe now because we have a lot of cool content coming your way. But I'm going to kick off with all the questions. I'm going to start in this segment. I'm going to do as many as I can do. And then, of course, we flow every week. So I'm going to start with the first question. So we had a person asked, Lance asked, what is your average time would you spend in the gym while training a body part? Great question. I always see people overtraining. In the beginning, I sat there and I did a body part for 2 hours. And I was just really naive on how I thought you actually grew muscle. And I think a lot of us think, okay, the more time we put in the gym, the more result we're going to have. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. So I always put at least 30 minutes to 40 minutes per body part, okay? So if I was going to train chest or shoulders or, I would consider arms kind of two body parts, or quads and hamstrings, I would consider those two. So that would be like my longest workout day, or the back day, which, I would focus on doing a lot more sets. But I think, maximum 40 minutes to 45 minutes it would take, with the proper rest time being 45 to 60 seconds. So most of the time, even today, I'll be honest, it takes me, I'm in the gym maybe 30 minutes and I do, 12 to 16 to 20 sets sometimes. So that's probably pretty most what time I'm putting in the gym. So we also have Robert asked, I notice I have some knots in my right calf when flexing. My left looks perfect. While foam rolling, take these out, or am I going to get some fascia work done to release them? To be honest, I have a couple bumps in my calves. I was always told they were kind of fatty deposits. Now someone with better knowledge of that maybe can tell us different. But I think, for me, I always noticed those even when I was lean, right? So when we talk about, we think fat deposits or whatever, I'm not sure what it is. But I don't know genetically if you can actually remove them. It wasn't such a big deal to me. And unless someone's really pointing them out that it's a huge difference. It's kind of like varicose veins. Like, some people think they're cool, some people can't stand them. They say they're not healthy to keep in, so a lot of people have them surgically removed. But we've seen the bodybuilders with all the crazy veins. But as far as the bumps, I wouldn't be that concerned about it, because like I said, even I have that kind of stuff going on. Okay. So that's next person asked, when does your Sour Series Amplify and Generate come out? Generate is already out. I actually have some here. That's the Sour Series Generate. And the Amplify Sour Lemonade is just getting into production now, so you probably see that in about 3 weeks. So that was Les's question, okay? Okay, Marlon57 asked me, Jay, just curious, do any of your brothers have the genetics to build muscle that you have? That's a very good question, because like, my brothers never trained. I think they had like a bench set downstairs in our house. But I have 3 brothers, and one is more stocky than the other 2. And they're all about between 12 to 15 years older than me. But they're pretty slender. I think my brothers probably weigh about 175 maybe. That's kind of how much like I was before I actually took to kind of weight training and really paying attention to my diet a little more. And they still do concrete work. But I don't know. I mean, I think Randall, who's the stockiest, could have had, the genetics to do something similar to me, but it just wasn't their choice. They chose to do, the concrete work and stay with doing that. So I'm the only one in my family that lifts weights out of 7 kids. And, it's just a path that I chose that really wasn't something it was. So, okay, so this is a good question from Gilbert, okay? I found that training is good for the mind as well as the body. As a senior, okay, so a little older, I know I'm limited, so should I focus on training or adding size or going more of a lean look? I love training but want to be practical. Thanks. Very good question. That's kind of like my goal now, right? I can be bigger. There's no question. I don't train for size whatsoever. So when I talk about, the volume training and the short rest time between sets, I don't care about how much strength I have. I'm just trying to maintain a lean muscular physique, and I don't want to weigh, over 250 pounds. Like, that's not my goal. Even if I, cycled up and I went on a diet, my goal would to still be under 250, but just more of a different look. Because as a lot of us know that diet for competitions, when you diet and you stay in a consistent diet, you develop a certain look, and you may look a lot small. You may be a lot smaller on the scale, but it's a whole transformed physique. So that's like when I used to train for Olympias, I'd be 300 pounds in the off season, I'd be huge, but then I diet down to 270, and people are like, oh my God, you look so much bigger. And I'm like, well, I actually lost 30 pounds. So as we know, when you're leaner, you appear to look bigger, and that's kind of the goal. So I would say definitely focus on being lean, but have body tone. I mean, when you're leaner, you're gonna appear a lot bigger, right? So I think that's the main thing. So another question, okay? We have Barnett the Josh, okay, asked, do you regret that you never able to beat Ronnie or Dex at their best? I don't know. I think Dexter was at his best, when he, lost to me in 2009. He beat me in 08. I came back in 09. Ronnie Coleman, he was, in his prime when I should have won in 2001, in my opinion. It was very close, judge's decision. So I was very comparable at that point. But no, it didn't frustrate me at all because I was actually able to win. I came out of it with a very successful career. I'm doing great things and doing my best to give back. I'm very satisfied with how my career went. I wouldn't change one thing. I wouldn't go back and say, oh man, if I would have won in 2001, what my career done? I'm very happy with all those second places. It made me a stronger person. The failures in life are sometimes more valuable than the victories. I can promise you that. I would not be as successful as a bodybuilder, as a businessman, as a friend, if I didn't have failure in all those aspects, in relationships or, business matters or, on the bodybuilding stages. Like, that made me such a stronger person. It made me humble. It made me realize how human I am, and the people that follow me, how human I am. So I think it's kind of an awkward question because everyone has their opinion when so-and-so was their best, right? Would you say that my best was 03 Ironman or 01 Olympia or 2009 just because of my achievements that year? But I might have said, well, my physique was the best in 99 when I finished 15th at the Mr. Olympia contest. So it's a kind of a judgmental thing to do that, okay? All right, so Demeter asked me, hey, Jay, what do you think about Dorian Yates's HIIT training style? Do you think that it's good to do in combination with high volume as periodization? Cheers from the UK. Never been a fan of the HIIT training that Dorian did. I call high intensity training is basically what it is. I focused on volume from the beginning. I think long term the volume training is ideal, although you can incorporate some of the high intensity, short rep ranges, whatever else that's it's a little more intense, but I just think your body needs the break and can't do it all the time. So you asked the right question is, if you take breaks from doing that, is it beneficial? Absolutely. Everyone has different training styles. We all train different. All the Mr. Olympia winners train different. I just preached the high volume training. That's what worked best for me. I admired Dorian's physique. I think it was great, but I just think that there's other ways to do it, okay? And that's what I kind of preach with my stuff. All right, so I don't know how to pronounce this name. Tawa John asked me, I have 2 questions. You don't seem to have cardiovascular problems at all because you don't breathe as heavy as many other bodybuilders do. It seems that they are out of breath and have a hard time walking. I thought that was a side effect of taking testosterone. It builds up cholesterol in your blood vessels. What's the secret? I think the secret is just not being so big all the time. I mean, when I was bigger, maybe I had more trouble breathing, but for me, being about 240 today isn't necessarily large for me, especially when I was 300 pounds and I started at basically this weight. I started at 200, but within 6 months I was 240. And obviously I've taken testosterone through that career, so and currently on TRT. So I don't think I think just being overweight, and then of course people having different different levels on how their body is, you have those effects. So you mentioned that in this video you do heavy dumbbell rows for back training. I always stayed away from it because of fear of a hernia. But you have maintained a perfect midsection through your career, which I think it got a little wider from these. Did it look like you had suffered from... it doesn't look like you suffered from a hernia from the exercise. Again, what's the secret, Jay? I think Phil said his belly started protruding after he suffered a hernia. Love the videos. You're the greatest. The one-arm rows definitely made my waist wider, the twisting, especially as I went heavier. So I can suggest for the younger guys coming up, don't go crazy rowing 200-pound dumbbells like I did, because it does put a lot of pressure, rep after rep. And I didn't have the smallest waist, so it did overdevelop my obliques. As far as a hernia, like, you can pick up weights and bend over and row or whatever. Just like I said, don't go crazy with the weight. You don't have to kill yourself to do it. I wouldn't be afraid of a hernia. I never had one. But unfortunately, some people, that happens to them. So it's one of those things. So, okay, I'm going to get to the last question. Okay, Robert asked me, can you still pour concrete today? I'd love to see that. Jay Cutler Flip Homes. See you do construction. You know what's funny is, that probably would have been my profession if I stayed in Massachusetts and worked in my brother's business. But, I chose a different path. So my brothers are still back there, late 50s, early 60s, still pouring concrete. It's a thriving business. There's a lot of still real estate going up in the area I grew up in. It did teach me the dedication. Would I want to go back to it? Not necessarily. I can do a lot of hands-on things. I mean, I did it as a kid. I worked even working on my ATVs and my snowmobiles, all that stuff, but I would pay someone to do that stuff now, to be honest. It's not something I like to do. I can find other things with my time. And, to get things done faster, I mean, time is the most precious thing to me at this point, and I have very little time. Even during this quarantine, I've been so busy. I'm working on new brands, and I'm working on behind the scenes on a couple other things that they're keeping me busy. I'm reading as much as I can, and trying to spend time with Angie, and try to relax a little bit and enjoy this downtime, because I don't usually get a lot of it. So, and I'm still staying up with the YouTube guys. So it's a lot of taxing. So now no more concrete work for me. I just hired a guy to do my barbecue at my house. But it's great to have these questions. I appreciate you guys writing in. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, but let's comment below on more questions that you would like to see on the Ask Jay or Q&Jay series here on YouTube. Always appreciate the support. I hope everyone's staying safe out there. We'll be in the gym soon, and boom, let's keep killing it, okay? Stay tuned, guys. Jay Cutler TV.